Hey guys, how's it going? It's Andy from MagooInvesting. We've been talking about renewable energy stocks for the past couple of days. I made a video talking about some of my favorites, just in general for renewables, and in the last video I talked about solar stocks. Going along with that theme, I wanted to talk about another green stock. This isn't a green energy stock, but I think it's very important to look at other industries that are going to be able to take advantage of this movement towards being green and renewable. Today we're going to be talking about Clean Harbors, ticker symbol CLH, and I'm going to talk about why I think it's a fantastic investment and why it's the newest addition to my green portfolio. It has outperformed the S&P 500 since it IPO'd in 1995, and I think it's an exciting way to invest in green technology moving forward. Before we get started, I have to say this is not financial advice, and most of the people watching this video are not subscribed, so be sure to hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, leave a comment down below on what stock you'd like me to talk about in a future video. So Clean Harbors, in the past year, it is up 15.3%, and that's pretty on par for how it's done over the past, 26 years since it IPO'd. Since it IPO'd in 1995, it has had returns on a compound annual growth rate of 16%, and that beats the S&P 500 by a pretty significant margin. When we're looking for long-term investments, looking in the green industry, when we're talking about renewable energy, it's really difficult to find companies that have outperformed the S&P 500 for a significant amount of time. That's why some of the parts of my portfolio, I have Brookfield Renewable and NextEra, which have both outperformed the S&P 500. Clean Harbors, for those of you that don't know, is a company that's going to go under the radar for the most part. This is a company that focuses on the recycling, wastewater, waste removal of many of the S&P 500 companies that you've heard of. It is a company that goes in and takes out harmful chemicals, does stuff about re-refining oil so that they can recycle it, and safely removing and disposing of chemicals from these major companies. And so we're getting to the point now where we need to start focusing on not only making the switch towards renewable energy, but making sure that as we make this transition away from fossil fuels, that we do it in a safe and sustainable manner. And so I think Clean Harbors is going to continue to grow in size. And I wanted to talk about what they do, because most people, Clean Harbors is not a household name. You don't think about, oh, I want to invest in the stock market. It's not a Microsoft, it's not an Apple. This is a company that, unless you're kind of doing your research, or I've seen a couple of their trucks driving along to work, and based off the fact that I do work in the renewable sector, I did see some job postings from them, so I have looked at them in the past. When you look at the company, it's broken down into two main parts. They have the main part, Clean Harbors, which has been around since 1995, and we'll talk about what is a part of that. But the thing that really got me excited is Environmental Clean, which was purchased I believe in 2012, let me find where that was. Yeah, purchased in 2012. And Safety Clean, I think, is a really exciting part of the company, because what they do is, the main part is they are doing the re-refining of oil. Oil obviously is a huge part of, how life runs. You need it for your car, you need it for these large machinery, and then after it's done, it's very difficult to dispose of in a correct manner. I've worked at places recently where we had a site up in Portland where in the 50s people were just dumping arsenic into the wetland. And I'm sure people have done that plenty of times with oil. And so oil is something that is very difficult to dispose of, especially on a large scale. And the reason that I think Safety Clean and the Environmental Clean, which is what it's now called with the business, is really exciting, because in the past year they re-refined 200 million gallons of oil. And this isn't the only thing they do. The re-refining of the oil is probably the thing that I'm most excited about. But there are some other chemicals that you wouldn't really think about. And some of them are cleaning supplies. They go in, they pick up cleaning supplies from companies and dispose of it in a safe manner. They're not able to re-refine it and use it in the future, but they're able to dispose of it safely. And we like that a lot more than having these oil spills or chemical disasters. When Clean Harbor is doing their job right, you're never going to hear about them. And I think that's kind of an exciting thing. This isn't a company that is looking for the limelight. They're doing a very important process that isn't the sexiest type of work out there. When you look at their company for revenue, most of their money is coming from the environmental services, which is a lot of the waste removal. The first is going to be the industrial and field services. This has to do with cleaning, catalyst handling, hydro excavation, material removal, and oil field transport. This is stuff that you're not really going to be thinking about as being a green part of their business, but this is the part that does environmental cleanup services. If there's a spill or something is at risk of being a spill, this is the part of the company that comes in. Then when you go to the second part, You have technical services, not super exciting. You have hazardous and non-hazardous material management services, which includes collection, packaging, transportation, recycling, treatment, and disposal services, which includes at their incineration, landfill, wastewater, and other treatment facilities, the 100 disposal facilities that they do own. So now that I've kind of explained what Clean Harbors does, let's talk about why I think that they're a worthy investment to consider. Because looking at the green space, you have a lot of companies that are speculative in nature. They don't make money, they don't bring in significant amounts of revenue. It's all based off of the future expectations that they will be successful. Clean Harbors is a well-established company that's been public since 1995. And when you look at their revenue, if you take out the pandemic year of 2020 on the left side of the annual, and you just kind of focus on the years before that and 2021, you see much higher revenue growth than most of the other companies I've talked about. This is more stable because they have a more reliable business. You have wastewater treatment, you have recycling, you have incineration. These are services that are going to be needed pretty much no matter what. You did have that dip during the pandemic as people weren't really sure what was going on there. And I don't blame anyone for having drops in revenue in 2020. But the thing that's most exciting to me is that this is a profitable company. When you look at their net income, in 2020 they made $135 million. In 2019, $98 million. And so far in 2021, let's see, you have 65 plus 67 plus 22. What is that? 120, 132, $155 million. So they're on pace to outperform 2020. Their next quarter should be coming up relatively soon. But this is a company that has all of the makings of being a very successful investment. It has the history of returns of outperforming the S&P 500, 16% compared to the 10% of the S&P 500. There's a company that has two parts of their business that I think are very important to the future growth of the green industry and making sure that companies can transition from being a more fossil fuel-based company to being green. After you make the switch from those type of technologies, there's a lot of waste that needs to be removed and disposed of safely, and that's where Clean Harbors is going to come in to move it. And then for the oil situations, they're going to be re-refining the oil. Last year, 200 million gallons of it. And then finally, this is a profitable company. They have the revenue growth. They have the net positive income. You cannot say that about a lot of other green companies out there. And I think when you look at all the options out there, Clean Harbors is a company that I've kind of missed in the past because it's not a super sexy technology. It's not these hydrogen fuel cell companies that are going to be coming in and changing the game. These are companies like Clean Harbor, and I'm trying to find other ones, so if you have other recommendations for green industry stocks, let me know in the comment section down below. But Clean Harbors does a very important job, and they do it really well. And with the past history of doing very well, it makes me very excited about investing in the future, and that's why it's the newest addition to my green portfolio. As of right now, it's mainly a renewable energy portfolio and not just an overall green portfolio. But anytime I can find a stock that really goes along with the theme I'm trying to invest in with renewables and longevity of the environment, I think it's always a positive. The company's been around since 1980, public since 1995, and in the past 5 years, it's up 77%. Past year, up 15%. In the past month, it is still positive. So even as the stock market's gone down and we've gone into correction territory, Clean Harbors continues to go well because this is a type of business that isn't really dependent on interest rates. It's just a company that their services are always going to be needed and they're expected to grow into the future. And that's why I'm really excited about adding Clean Harbors, ticker symbol CLH, to my green portfolio. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate all support, and let me know what stocks you guys would like me to talk about in future episodes. I appreciate all support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.